this. Oh boy, here we go again.
Oh, here
Another
we go.
another week, another
Yay.
penny.
Yay. Yay. Jay's still civilian. How about that? Like, and this time I'm not like hung the fuck over
Oh,
like
you
a
didn't. Oh,
motherfucker like last week.
you didn't get the blues yet.
No. No, I didn't
It,
get the blues yet.
it's coming. It's coming.
Why would I get the blues, man? I had a good run. Like I'm not ashamed of nothing, dude.
Yeah,
I had a good time.
the only
I had a good time.
there you go. Not the only blues you're looking for are jazz cigarettes.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, dude. Like it's it's funny. Me and Nikki have not bought a single pack of cigarettes in almost a year now. Like it was December of last year, the last time we bought. To be fair, we both have had cigarettes here and there, but it's not every day, and it's usually typically when we go out to drink. If we go out somewhere to have a couple drinks, if somebody wants to bum us a smoke, like I'll smoke a cigarette once in a while. Having a drink at a bar maybe, but we have not bought cigarettes.
That's a
And
fantastic feat.
it's it's a lot better. It's a lot better than where I was a few years ago. I mean, I've been smoking. I think I first got addicted to cigarettes in junior year of high school, so I was like 17. It's like after
Oh
wrestling
shit.
season. So yeah, I was like 17. So I'd been smoking for 22, 23 years before I quit. So it was like it was high time to knock it off, you know. But
Yeah.
every once in a while, you know, if I go out and have a couple pints, you know, I might bum one from somebody. I do still use Camel Snooze, the pouch tobacco, basically. I do still use that, but yeah, it's a lot better, man. But every once in a while, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't want a cigarette once in a while. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You know,
It's a powerful addiction.
it
You
true,
know?
and it truly is. A lot of people, nicotine. As you can see, I'm smoking a cigarette now.
Hmm.
It,
Right.
it's a powerful. I went 2 whole years without smoking a cigarette, and I had one bad day.
Really.
And yeah, I went 2 years
Yeah.
without smoking a cigarette, and I had one bad day, and I went back to smoking. And it's really crazy how that one cigarette will bring you
Right.
right back.
Right back. Right back.
It'll bring
Yep.
you right back. So it's a terrible habit. I'm coming to my wife and I. We're coming to the point where we're about to start considering, using a gum or
Some
something
type of
like that.
cessation.
Yeah,
Yeah, some type of cessation. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, and I know everybody hates having tobacco in their mouth, and I get it. The Camel Snooze are not bad. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's spitless. It's not. It says spitless. I'm gonna say it's not entirely spitless because your mouth you do salivate sometimes, and depending
yeah,
on if you've just eaten or just drank something, you will get a little bit of salivation sometimes, not always. For the ladies, I mean, what do you want me to say? You can put a little pouch of tobacco in your mouth and nobody knows it's there to begin with, or you can fucking have dragon breath from fucking smoking cigarettes. I mean, like, what do you want, ladies? I mean, what do you want? I mean, six of one, half dozen of another. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I know.
It's
I have a friend of
you
mine
know,
who like is complete like hates that women smoke. It's
oh,
like
dude,
it's like a thing. It's an interesting.
and I know plenty of women that if you are a male and if you are a male and you are a smoker, you are automatically off the list.
Yeah, you're
You
cut.
guys will you will not be going on a date if you are a male and you are a smoker,
Yeah,
like
you,
that
you could
is,
be you could be Robert Downey Jr., but if you smoke, you're fucked.
if you smoke, you're fucked. Yeah, that's exactly. Well, and it, we're talking about the health. We're talking about long
Smell.
term stuff, smells. Like if you have carpets in your house, God forbid if you smoke in your house. You know what I mean? Like there's biz. And I get where you are in Jersey. You pretty much you'd have to walk 5 miles through your building just to get outside and have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cigarette. I get why you do.
Yeah, it's
I
it's
totally get
and
why
it's
you
actually
do.
and it's funny too because it is very common here. It's very
Yeah,
common here for people
it's
to
common for people to smoke inside. Yeah.
yeah, and especially since like we were so used to
Hmm. Yeah.
centuries smoking indoors. We were always used to
Right.
it, and then all of a sudden you can't smoke in bars no more. You can't smoke in movie theaters anymore. I
Right.
remember going to movie theaters and smoking cigarettes.
I
You know,
remember the first time. I remember the first time I was on an airplane in the 1980s.
people were
I
smoking.
they weren't smoking on the airplane, but there were fucking ashtrays in the fucking armrests.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember being like 7 years old and seeing ashtrays in the armrests
yeah, and just curious,
of the
like
airplane.
just curious,
And
like is
I was like,
this?
Mom. I asked my mom. I was like, Mommy, what's this? Mommy, what's this? And she's like, that's an ashtray. Because I was 7 years old. I didn't fucking know any better. But
Yeah,
at that time, it was nobody was. I think they had already banned smoking on planes by that point. But the planes still had. They still had the no smoking symbol, and it still had the fucking ashtrays in the console,
yeah, yeah.
the armrest. So yeah, I mean
That
it's taken society has taken a lot of very big steps forward in regards
in
to, I guess,
tobacco.
with tobacco, yes, but I don't even necessarily want to see tobacco go all the way away. I think it is a useful plant. It's a useful medicine. You know what I mean? It can be a useful drug.
Absolutely.
It can be a useful drug. But the way we use it, smoking the shit out of cigarettes or, cigars or pipe tobacco or chewing tobacco or whatever, I mean, the way we use it, it gets a lot out of control, and it does fuck you up. I mean,
Yeah.
over a long period of time, it fucks you up.
Now, honestly, I've always wanted to get into cigars. Because I know that's like a once in a while thing.
Right.
If you're smoking a cigar every day, holy shit.
Oh, yes. I will smoke a cigar every once in a blue moon, and I think you and me have actually had this conversation. I think
Yeah.
it was when you were out in Kansas City. The reason I don't smoke cigars traditionally is because I have a problem with inhaling.
Yes.
You're not supposed to inhale cigar smoke, and I tend to inhale everything when I smoke
Yeah.
anything.
If
So it
if if,
basically
if it's
like
in a steam or something, I'm
I'm inhaling basically. That's so I don't really smoke. Every once in a while, I might smoke a cigar with the buddies, or if somebody's got one and they want to hand them out, I'll take a couple drags. I'll chill on it. Not a huge fan, and to be perfectly honest, I'd prefer not to go back to cigar smoking after basically quitting cigarette
yeah.
smoking.
Oh, because that'll be like smoking a whole pack
Oh yeah,
in
well,
one
and
sit.
you know
You
what?
know.
It's one of those things where it's like, never say never, but I mean, I'm trying really hard to
Oh yeah.
be a little bit better to my lungs. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
So,
I'm telling you, it's good. Like one of those things when Sirius XM signs us.
hmm
We're gonna have a cigar. So.
we absolutely will. We'll have a cigar and freaking, oh yeah, cocaine strippers. Like it's gonna be a
Yeah,
party.
yeah,
Like absolutely.
it's gonna
When we
be
uh
intense.
when we make the scene, right? When we make
Yeah,
the scene,
I mean we're almost there.
we're getting there. I mean, what we average like what 5-6 views.
No, I mean we're listening. We're
We're, we're,
listening.
we're this close, man. We're this close.
I mean
You know?
we're heard in over 35 states, different areas of the
Absolutely.
world. I mean, hey, you can't you can't you can't stop the standard. All right, you can't
No, you
stop the
can't.
standard.
No, you can't. We got Brazil. We got Ireland. You know what I mean? I think we got a
Singapore.
couple. We got Singapore, a government installation in Singapore, by the way. Like I think we got a couple of weirdo countries in like Africa somehow.
Oh
I'm
man,
down. I'm down with this shit, dude. I like that shit. Like
DD
I'm like
214 World Tour coming soon, guys. Stay tuned.
I'm telling you,
No,
man.
we should do so. Like,
Hook us up, dude.
would you do like like a DD 214 cruise?
That'd be a fucking nightmare, dude. Like, well, I mean, it'd be fun for us. It'd be a nightmare for everybody else, dude. Don't ever put me on a boat with like
We're gonna
free
have
drinks.
the whole
and food,
crew.
dude.
The
Like,
whole crew is gonna have to be a bunch of docks. We're gonna
I'm
have to get
telling
a bunch of docks, a bunch of water filtration guys, and
Yep.
a bunch of
I'm
cooks.
telling you, I'm telling you, dude. Like, that's what
That's what
they're
it's gonna
gonna.
be.
Like I will if you feed me enough alcohol, dude, I just kind of turn into like a rolling monster, dude. Where it's just like I'm like a big baby, dude. It's like I get hungry, I get thirsty, you know. I want to drink, I want to fight, I want to fuck, and that's
so
it.
I
You know
saw
what I mean? Like,
I saw a pretty cool gift for you that I almost got. The only reason why I didn't get it because it was at Halloween Spirit and it was a piece of plastic for like maybe $60. So
oh Jesus,
you're not worth the $60, Jay. You're just not worth it. You're just
I
not
don't know.
worth it.
I don't know very many people that would say that I'm worth $60
It was
anyway,
like
so.
it was a devil's mask,
Okay.
beer funnel.
Nice.
And I was like, man, this is sick.
Hell yeah.
This is
Hell yeah.
this is sick, you know. And speaking of Halloween, I just want to let you know, I have two costumes that I'm pretty much preparing, but I don't know, depending on how much makeup is gonna have to be used for one, I may have to stick with that one for the podcast.
Right.
But I can't let the other one go to waste. So, you know, wait
Now,
till you see it. Now I have.
Being that Halloween falls on a Sunday this year, are we waiting until Halloween Day and just doing our podcast as regular and dressing up for the podcast? Is that
Oh
your
yeah,
plan?
oh yeah. Let's do it. And now this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump on camera before the show like we always do.
Uh-huh.
Just cover your camera.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cover mine, and we are not gonna see each other until we go live.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
You know that
That's perfect.
It's gonna
I like that.
it's gonna be pretty cool. I mean the one that I'm really hoping really turns out well is gonna be pretty exciting. Yeah. And you know I
was just gonna ask you what you're gonna be, and then I remembered we talked about not.
Well, I'll give you a hint.
Not telling each other.
I'll give you a hint. It's gonna be Marvel related. You know, and with
if that's what you call a hint, I mean, okay.
Yeah,
there's only like 500. There's only like 500 fucking Marvel characters.
Exactly. So that's the best. That's the best I can do. Right, baby?
Just don't be one of the
for Halloween.
John, just don't be a fucking pussy. Whatever you do, okay?
Oh no. I'm not gonna be a Hawkeye. Oh, did I just say that?
I was gonna say Jesus hates a pussy, right?
Yeah. So man, before I get to like some of the shenanigans of this week, I have to show you this hilarious video last night. Now we usually save the outside military stuff for the other show and stuff like that, the comedy.
Yeah.
But I can't skip this. And I was showing this to my wife last night, and we were crying in bed, like we were
laughing and shit.
Like, dude, it was so fucking funny. And thank God that this person is alive, that we can laugh about this story. But in Taiwan, during a sexual intercourse, a woman fell from the balcony onto her car. It was a mind-blowing incident that occurred in Taiwan. She was on the balcony. They were getting it on, lost their balance, and
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry that I'm laughing, but you know what? In other people's misery, other people find laughter.
Are you putting the video up?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna watch. It looks like I'm gonna have to watch it on the Facebook stream because I don't see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I see the Facebook stream now.
All right, so it's very instant. Yeah. So, and it.
Oh my God. Oh, that poor woman.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
She lived. She lived though.
Yeah. So that was the
how
fall.
High up was, what story was she on?
It does.
How high was she?
So it doesn't say. It just said it was an apartment building. The article doesn't go. In fact, the article was from the Sun, a tabloid article.
Well, that's real video though. I mean, that's obviously real footage. I mean, I want to make it. It was actually, it's actually funny. We just saw that. So yesterday I went to the Kansas City Zoo with my beautiful girlfriend and my daughters, and My girlfriend's parents came down and hung out with us for a while, and it was really neat. It was really nice. Towards the end of the day, we took a kind of like a ski lift ride. You know, like they have like kind of like a ski lift thing at the zoo, and you basically just kind of like slowly move over, and you see animals from above, basically, and it was pretty cool. Kind of a good little.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was kind of like a little end of the day, kind of like just ride to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
do you see the whole park? Can you see the whole park
no.
from that?
No, it's bigger than that. You can't see from how high. We were only probably the highest we probably were off the ground was probably 50 or 60 feet, ish.
Oh, that's not bad.
Maybe 70 at the most.
That's
like
still
when
not
you get.
bad.
No, it wasn't, but still potentially fatal though. So I was showing my daughter when we first started going up, 10, 12 feet off the ground. I was showing my daughter. I was like, look, if you ever have to jump, you need to make sure there's ways to jump and live, basically. Like aim for soft ground. Don't aim for pavement. Don't aim for rocks. Don't aim for a fence. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And we got to a certain height, and then I told her at the certain height, I was like, see, from here, you might live, but your legs are going to be shattered. I was like, you'll never walk the same again. I was like, you might live, but, and then I asked her, and she actually got the correct response. I was like, if you were to jump from right here into that little marsh right there, would you land with your feet or would you land with your butt? She said, you land with your butt. And I was like, oh my God.
There you go.
My daughter is so smart.
They heard it.
You do not always land with your feet first. Like there are certain instances where distributing that I guess that force, believe it or not, up your backside is more prudent than landing with your feet, and that's freaking.
I would rather break my back than my legs.
There's obviously there's no guarantees. Once you're above, I think the threshold is like, I want to say it's somewhere between 30 and 50 feet, but once you're above that, there's no guarantees after that.
Oh yeah.
But there are ways to live. There are ways to. I'm not gonna say people live 100% of the time because they obviously don't, right? But there's ways to live, and like seeing that woman in that video fall into that car. If you're 3 or 4 stories up and you've got a car to land on, I'd aim for the fucking car. In an urban environment, I would aim for the fuck. I would definitely aim for the fuck because if you hit the pavement, you're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, you
fucked.
saw she landed right on it and just like
and she sat right up,
rushed the fucking thing.
But that could also be adrenaline too. I saw a very, very like kind of like not safe for life picture on Reddit, and it was a dude who fell from.
Not safe for life.
Yeah, dude. Well, because the dude lived, and it was like there was a video. It was a video of after the fact, but the picture was him. It looked like he was coming out of the car, but he had fallen on top of the car from like from 90 feet. He tried to kill himself, and he fell from like 90 feet, landed on this fucking Mercedes, and he's like crawling out of the wreckage of the Mercedes that he just wrecked, by landing on it, and his arm was probably hanging by a thread. Put it that way.
Shit.
I don't know. I really don't know what was keeping his arm, but he lived.
Yeah, and he tried.
By landing on that fucking car from 90 feet, he fucking lived. That's a long way to fall.
He tried to take his own life, and he lived.
He landed on a car. Yep.
That says a lot.
He landed on a parked car and he demolished the car, and he lived. And that's. I hope the man is getting the help he needs. I hope his arm gets reattached somehow or fucking fixed, because his arm, the video that they had attached to it, where it showed him, it was just him rolling on the ground in agony, like he was screaming in pain, and it was just like, dude, it's hard to watch. That's the shit that's like really hard to watch.
Yeah,
the man is clearly in pain, and it's like, I can't imagine being in the mental pain where he wanted to take his life in the first place. Then you try and you land in a fucking car and live, and just completely fucked his arm up. Like, I mean, bad. Like, it was like nothing. You couldn't tell that anything was wrong here. It looked like his arm was unattached at the shoulder, and his whole arm was just flopping. It was just like,
dude.
And he was screaming in agony.
So does something like that make your stomach turn?
No. Every once in a while, I was actually give me 1 second here.
You got it, man.
I apologize, John.
No, don't apologize.
Actually, me and Nikki me and my girlfriend had a conversation about that. So, I used to watch a lot of what you might call like the hardcore videos on the internet.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I did it personally to desensitize myself. So if I encountered something, say like in the army or downrange during war, I wanted to be ready for it. I wanted my stomach to be ready for it. On mission is kind of like the wrong time to like, puke your guts out or fucking freak out because you're seeing like body parts blown, all over, scattered everywhere, or fucking if you get covered with muck, if somebody blows up next to you, like what, it's one of those things where like I don't want to lose.
I remember you spoke about this and described it as knowing your enemy.
Yeah, basically, yes. So like, the ISIS videos, the cartel videos, pictures of people ending their own lives, stuff like that, where I do not want to encourage people to go seek this stuff out. It's not fun to watch. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your soul. It's definitely not. It's not healthy. It's not good for your eyes. It is not emotionally healthy to watch those kind of videos. However,
knowledge is healthy.
I did for a while, and I used it basically to desensitize myself. So when I see videos like that, they don't really necessarily turn my stomach. I a lot of times, honestly, I feel for the people.
Yeah.
I feel bad for them. Whether they're in a bad place and they're trying to take their own lives, like that gentleman was in that picture, or whether it's an accident like the one you just showed me where she just fell off a balcony after having sex with her man. I just feel bad. A lot of times I just feel bad for it, especially the people that get tortured, like some of those videos that exist on the internet. For the love of God, people, don't do that to yourself. Don't even bother. Take it from, your friendly neighborhood Jay. Don't fucking watch. Like, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, really, because he's gonna come through the neighborhood and kick your ass. So
I will kick your ass, but it's but it's just not it's not emotionally healthy to watch that shit. Yeah. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for your heart or your soul or your body. It's just stay away from that shit, kids. Like keep your minds full of puppy dogs and rainbows and shit. And
now.
Let Jay watch all the ISIS videos, okay? Because it's not good for your soul.
Yeah. Now, while we're talking about videos, we're gonna go to a whole different type of story right now because I need to tell. I have to talk about this.
Okay. I'm down.
So
absolutely.
I've talked about this before. My wife and I, we've been together. We're going on like 14, 15 years.
Okay.
So it's time to spice things up a little bit. Spice things up. Spice things up.
Sure.
So we went to the adult shop, looking around, just like, okay, cool. They got some cool stuff here. But in this particular shop,
I do want to remind our viewers too, like this podcast is and always has been intended for mature audiences. So
yeah,
if we are ever talking about shit like ISIS videos or John's getting ready to talk about being in a sex shop, please do remember that we do have a disclaimer and a warning before our podcast for a reason. So
yeah,
this podcast is R-rated. So if your fucking 13-year-old kid watches it and comes to you asking you what this or that is, fucking
and mom,
don't come crying to me.
And
okay?
Mom, if you're still here, you might want to leave for 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Mom, if you don't want to hear what your son likes to get down with, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, Mom, I am so sorry. Mom, I am so sorry. I'm sorry if you're still here and you hear this. So we went to this adult shop, and there was some booths there, and our intentions were check out the place, check out the sex shop. It was date night, so we're just like, okay,
sure.
Let's so we go to the shop, and there's like these booths there, the video booths and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But the problem with this one is that this place had shower curtains.
For the booth?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
interesting.
so it was like, okay, whatever. We go in the booth.
Okay.
Start getting down.
Okay. Hell yeah. Down.
Curtain starts moving. We're holding the curtain back,
What the fuck? That just sounds uncomfortable.
Dude, well, we got it done.
Hell, fuck yeah, you
We
did.
got it
Fuck
done.
yeah, you did,
And
bro.
like there
Fuck
was
yeah.
like, I mean, I saw a penis.
Millie, okay, I'm out. Sorry, Millie.
I'm so sorry, Mom.
Is that is that do you
That's
know Millie?
that's my mom.
That's your mom.
That's my mom. And I'm so sorry, Mom. So we get
Sorry,
down.
Mom.
We
I'm
do
sorry, Mom.
we get down. We do the thing. And like we get out and like yo, it was like it was like they ran out of food at the soup kitchen or something. Like
Was there like a freaking line or some shit? Like,
it was
wait
like
on?
it was just like what's going on here, and we're just like whoa, okay, it's time to go.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I thought I walked into a sex shop. Why is everybody looking at me like I'm a fucking weirdo? Like, I'm so sorry. Like,
I'm just trying to have a good time with my wife, yo.
like, what's a person got to do these days to have some fucking public sex? What the hell? You know what I mean? I'm just saying,
Yeah,
dude.
and so we got it done, whatever. So we went out. We went over to the docks,
Hmm.
and it's so cool because it was really nice going to the docks because over at the docks, they had they have the boats just parked there, but they actually let people sleep out in their boats over in the bay that we have over here.
Okay.
Which actually touches Staten Island. So it's actually really nice. People were out there, people were partying on their boats. You see the patrol out there just checking on things.
Hmm.
And we went on the dock, sat down. Me and my wife, proceeded to, give me some oral.
Oh yeah.
I look up. There's
Word.
nobody there. There's nobody there. I look up again.
And
There's a dude 4 feet away. This is where the problem lies. Okay.
the problem lies with where you live. You live around like 14 billion fucking people, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem.
So
Like, can't even get a fucking blowy fucking by yourself, dude.
so
It's like,
so like we're sitting there at the docks and like there's a dead end over at the dock. There's nothing there. And this guy looks like he's been to the docks before. Now this is a place where like, anyone from John Hancock to Eddie Murphy probably go to get a fucking handy, or whatever,
right, right.
But this
Absolutely.
guy kept walking. He kept
just-
walking. He sees us.
he's like,
He kept walking. So the
"Fuck
first
it."
thing I'm thinking, I see this bulky ass thing on the side of his pants. I'm thinking, okay, it's a gun. He's a cop. We're about to get
Right.
arrested right now. No, the fucking guy. It's a big ass cell phone. The fucking guy keeps on walking, and that's that.
Okay. I mean, honestly, dude, like, it's been a while, but I've walked past people doing questionable shit in public more times than I can count in my life. Now, I'm not even just talking like necessarily sexual stuff. I mean, you walk by an alley and you see a group of kids like passing around like a fucking wine bottle or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you end up just minding your own business after a while. It's just like, fuck it. It's not my fucking business. Like I don't feel like dealing with this today. So I'm just gonna keep walking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and you just happen to be the dude getting the blowy, in that situation, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking funny, dude. It's fucking funny. I like that shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That is
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. Dude, speaking of hilarious, tuned into I read some controversial shit about Dave Chappelle's new Netflix special.
Yeah, let's talk about that because
Oh,
I
watched it.
I haven't
watched
seen
it
I
last
haven't
night.
seen it yet. I'm highly interested. Was this his final one or something?
He's saying it's going to be his last one for a while. He never made a definitive like I'm never doing this again. He said that it's Dave Chappelle. Like the dude's done. Like he's set for life. He is set for life. He never has to work again if he doesn't want to. And that's what he did. He disappeared for 10, 15 years, and then he just started making a couple of Netflix specials. And the controversy came from, having to do with something that has to do with, gender and sexuality. And
Yeah.
and so like the last probably, oh God, he started talking about it fairly early on. It's the special is like a little over an hour, I think. And he started talking about it fairly early on, but he basically talked about it for the rest of his set, where it was like, but it was hilarious. It was funny. not necessarily politically correct. It's not necessarily going to make everybody happy. I can see where the controversy comes in, but I also see the point that Dave Chappelle's making. He's like, motherfucker, I'm a comedian. Like, I can't. You're not going to tell me how to tell my fucking jokes. You know what I mean? And like, and he actually uses a couple of stories, like real life stories,
Yeah.
to illustrate his point and to drive his point home. Obviously, here on DD214 Gaming, we are all inclusive. You know, you're never going to hear us bash anyone for any of their sexual rights, transgender rights, gay rights, stuff like that. You're never going to hear us. We are all inclusive here. All are welcome.
We love you all. We love
we love everybody.
Even
okay?
even if you're a Boston Red Sox fan, we love you.
And this is kind of the point that Dave Chappelle is making. We will love you here all day long, and we don't care who you are or where you're from, all the way up until the point we don't. And I think that was kind of what he was getting at. And so, now, obviously, it was a comedy special, so he was making it funny. But it was extremely funny. But he was making a very astute point. Like, it's like, hey man, I'm with you all day long until you turn into a fucking asshole, and then sorry, dude, I'm not with you anymore. Now we don't get down because you're a fucking asshole, and I don't want to be around you. Like like that's it. And that wasn't the whole point he made, but it's the gist. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to just because you're a protected class, basically, like if you're a minority, or if you're in the minority regarding like your sexuality, something like that. Just because you're a minority doesn't mean you get to be an asshole. Just like me being, a cisgendered white male in the United States of America doesn't give me the right to be an asshole just because I constitute part of the majority, right? As a white male, I don't get to be an asshole because of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, nor should I, obviously.
I think that's a strong point too, because a lot of people are doing that, and it's very unfortunate because we get it.
He made that exact point. It's a different time. He made a really funny joke about. He's like, where'd all the Stonewall gays go? He's like, I miss them Stonewall gays. They didn't take shit from nobody. You know what I mean? Like, that's an old school reference. That's an old school reference. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, because he's a comedian. He's making a joke about how all the gays these days are like soft, and I'm like, some shit you'd never hear come out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Because like, I ain't saying that shit. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble. He's Dave Chappelle. He can do whatever. He can say whatever the fuck he wants and make a joke out of it, and people are going to laugh no matter what, right?
And he's been doing this theme of speaking and using his voice.
Absolutely, and he did.
And he's been doing that.
One of the first things he said at the very beginning of the special was, "I'm rich and I'm famous, so I can't imagine what a lot of you went through last year." Like, he laid it flat on it. He's like, I did not experience the same thing a lot of you experienced during coronavirus, and he's right. And he was right, and he put it right. Like, nobody can use that against him.
He had a show during the pandemic, and in his own private property, which was one hell of a show, by the way.
That's right. That's right. And he's a comedian philosopher. Not unlike guys like Bill Hicks and George Carlin, Doug Stanhope. I know a lot of people don't like Doug Stanhope because he's kind of a drunk, but I'll tell you what, Doug Stanhope is like the drunk philosopher, dude.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle's kind of going in the same direction.
You listen to him, it's when you hear a bit of truth, all it takes is someone to hear one sentence that makes a lot of sense. Because when you hear that one knock on the door, you open it, and then you're in for a whole whirlwind of shit. And that's the beauty of words.
Absolutely, and also on the reverse of that, you might only hear one thing and you get very, very offended, because sometimes when people are dropping their version of truth and life and philosophy out there, it can be offensive sometimes. And depending on who you are and what your station in life is, it can get offensive. Like, I know we talked last week about me going back to college next semester in January of 22, and going back to college as a 40-year-old, a middle-aged man, basically. I can almost guarantee you, if as long as I stick it out and if I stay in school and I see it all the way through, I guarantee you somewhere in the next 3 to 4 years, I'm going to hear some shit in a classroom that probably offends me a little bit.
Yeah.
It is almost impossible. And I'm going to have to open my mind
to listen to it.
We can either have a discussion about it in class, or I can talk to somebody about it later, or I can just ball up and be a bitch and just let them say whatever they want to say and just be silently pissed off. It doesn't matter. People are always going to say things that hurt your feelings per se, right? Do you have the intestinal fortitude to ask yourself, why is that bothering me so much?
Yeah.
Why does this bother me? You know, am I in the right for being bothered, or do I need to check myself? Because sometimes it's okay to be bothered by something. Like, you should be bothered. You should be bothered. And so I apologize.
No, you're good. I would love to piggyback on that, actually, because
please
there's
do.
So
I got to shoot a message now that
yeah. So
I just hit the fuck you button to my mom.
Oh shit. Oh. So like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I actually respect that a lot, and there are actually no but about that. But to kind of put into perspective for what I do, you know, when you live in an area where we're known for being assholes to each other, you know, where we're, you know, in some cases, in some areas, we're a melting pot. You know, you come into for example, you come into the city that I grew up in, white, Spanish, Asian, African, there's all types of different nations in the 2-mile city that I grew up in. Now, you're going to have a lot of people that talk a lot of shit to you. I had a guy when I was a kid, this gang member from a gang called the Dominicans Don't Play. They were a notorious gang from the hometown that I came in, along with the MS-13. A lot of these guys I grew up with, a lot of them are probably some of the coolest guys I've ever known in my life. And some of them, you know, one particular person put a bubblegum wrapper in my neck and made it seem like it was a knife. You know? So, you know, and I was maybe 9 years old when that happened to me. You know? So, you know, you start figuring out, you know, okay, well now, you know, there's pieces of shit out here. Now I have to be careful for myself, especially for someone who lives a block away from me. So now now you're 18, 19 years old living in the same area. Those same people are grown up and they're even worse. Now they're saying things to you because you dress a different way, or you look a certain way, or you hang with a certain group of people. So what you know. Sorry about that. I got thrown off for a second.
Are you okay? You were talking about like.
Oh, okay. So, you know, growing up, you know, and then going into the army, and then, you know, going through experiences being homeless.
Sure.
You know, so
I can only imagine.
You know, oh, my mom just asked me who did that. Mom, I don't remember his name. It was a long time ago. We'll talk about it later, Mom.
Yeah. Obviously, a little shit who was already well on his way to fucking the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah. Oh, and I've seen him on Facebook. He's still on the wrong side, you know, and you know, as well deserved, because you just don't do that. But
you know, I hate to say it, dude, because last year, I think it happened during coronavirus, and I won't name names because I don't want to begrudge, you know, or besmirch the memory of the dead, but there was a kid that I went to middle school with. Did not know him very well. I knew him from middle school, and we recognized each other around town a couple times in our 20s. Said hi, shook hands, whatever. Decent enough dude. He died last year in a motorcycle accident, and he was riding a stolen motorcycle. And it was like one of those things where, like, I didn't know the dude personally, and I am not going to besmirch the memory of the dead. I didn't know the dude. I don't know what his situation was in life. I don't have shit to say on that because it's none of my business.
Yeah.
But that is how he passed away, though.
Yeah.
He passed away riding on a stolen motorcycle.
It's unfortunate that it was like it all circles back, like.
Yes, very much so.
You know, and
a lot of times. And the universe, you kind of get what you give. You know what I mean? And that's
absolutely, and it is very unfortunate too, because you know you start growing this skin. Now you know growing up in a you know a not so bad area, but an area bad enough that there was still, you know, it wasn't, you know, the town that I grew up in, it wasn't a rich town, but it wasn't that much of a poor town either. Yeah, there were pauper areas in Union City, but for the most part, it wasn't a bad town to grow up in. In saying that, growing up from a town like that to being homeless,
Sure.
deciding to be homeless to be independent with your wife, now that's when the fun starts. That's when everyone starts
Absolutely.
talking all the shit to you, because now you're holding a sign. People don't believe you. You're trying to stay clean and no one believes you, so you're having people say all types of things. Now you're doing things that you never think that you would do in order to survive. You know,
That's exactly right.
so
That is
now
exactly.
you're building more skin. So now I'm coming into the army. Now I have to worry about motherfuckers screaming in my face,
Right.
talking shit to me, breaking me down. I had to
Right.
get used to that. You know, I
That's
had
right.
I, you know I had to
Hopefully breaking you down to build you back up. By the way.
absolutely. Now to put into context, I went into the army, literally 3-4 months after my first son was born. So to put that
Okay.
into context, I signed my contract during the time that my wife was pregnant, and I left almost immediately after he was born.
Okay.
So if you can kind of figure out the rest.
Sure.
You know?
My youngest Delilah, I was not present for her birth because I was going to Fort Benning to change my job in the army.
Yeah.
And so the first time I saw her was on one of our. We got like a weekend break, basically, like after the recruits graduated basic, the basic version of OSA before they went to the, I guess, AIT
Yeah.
version
The next step.
portion of
Yeah.
OSA. We got like a weekend, and I was actually able to meet Delilah for the first time, like in Georgia, basically while I was still basically redoing basic training.
Yeah. There you go.
So that was the first time I
Yeah.
met
And
Delilah.
things like that build character.
Sure,
They
sure,
build character.
absolutely.
So now I'm in the army. I have people talking shit to me. Now we're in the army. There's different cultures. There are cliques. It
Oh yeah,
happens. It just happens. The
that's
army.
hum-
The
that's what
army.
humans do.
Yeah.
We
The,
find tribes that we click with, and we make our own tribes.
yeah. It just
You know,
happens, and the army promotes it. Not to do that, but it's just human nature.
it
You
absolutely
can't
is.
force people to be
Yeah,
amongst people who don't like each other. You
that's
know.
correct. Or they just don't belong together, hanging out. Really, like
Exactly.
they just don't click like
Yeah,
that.
if they're like, dude, if we didn't have a connection, if we didn't vibe,
The-
do you think this show would be as
Obviously,
you know?
no. Of course not. And the only difference in the army is you might not click with somebody to hang out with them per se, but when you go on mission, it's the mission. The
Yeah,
mission comes first, and that's where everybody, like, all personality differences disappear. You know what I mean? And that's freaking and that's how it's supposed to be.
yeah,
That's exactly how it's supposed to be.
yeah, and
Um, but in real life, obviously, you don't have that barrier, that stopping point where you don't have to get along with people because there is no mission in real life. It's your mission. Your
yeah,
life is the mission, right? So yeah. So people talk shit, and that's
yeah, and that's just the way of the army. So you're always gonna meet people that you don't get along with, because if you really think about it, you're put into a building, a room in some cases, with people who are completely total opposite of you, and you're at the point where you're just like, okay, I need for the sake of my job, I need to keep it cordial with this person, even though I don't like this fucking guy.
right,
You know, it just
right.
happens. But anyway, I'm going off on a rift here. But the whole point is that these experiences, like now, if someone says something to me, or if like, even a customer, a guest, I have to call them for Target. Which actually, I just made 1 year 2 days ago. It's very rare that I make 1 year at a job, and I made 1 year at Target. So, yeah,
Hey, congratulations, man.
thank you.
Good
I
shit.
didn't even
Good
notice it.
shit.
My wife told me. But bringing all those experience to where I am today. If someone says something to me, or if it's something that I don't agree with, I'm gonna listen to it, and I'm gonna listen to it, and because one, I'm not educated enough to be a keynote speaker to talk about shit like this. My
Right,
if I talk too much, I end up sounding like I'm trying to sound smart, and that's
right.
if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna say a few words and that's it. You just
Sure. I try very hard to
Yeah, like
keep facts, in the facts column and not just spout off about shit I have no clue what I'm talking about.
yeah,
I've noticed I noticed on a couple of our podcasts, I put out information that wasn't necessarily incorrect, but the facts weren't exactly correct. And I was like, damn, someday when we go back through these and archive them or whatever, like I need to put a correction like in the side, like where I say X amount of number of people did this or whatever. Like I need to put a correction in there and say like that's what I remembered going off the top of my head, but it was wrong. And it's only been 2 or 3 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like oh crap, like and it really does speak a lot to say that that you and me want to speak properly. You know what I mean? I don't want to be blowing hot air at people's asses. I'm not here to, like you said, I'm not here to sound like I'm smarter than I am. If I have something to say and I have an opinion, I have no problem voicing my opinion. But I also want to do it in such a way that's semi-intelligent and a useful part of the conversation. I don't want to just speak to hear myself talk, basically. Yeah. So I totally understand where you're coming. Coming from.
Yeah, and to end that whole point, so I have these things. So I have these 2 boxes. So these are the boxes right here. This is the large box, and this is the small box.
Okay.
Obviously, you know what goes in the large box. Relationship, family, financial.
Right.
The little box is shit talk, trolls,
right.
Some asshole in my ear, this or that,
Yeah.
That goes in the small box. So like what I have pretty much like I believe I want to say that I trained myself to do is to not, like they say, don't worry about the little things. I'm 33 years old, so when I'll say me and my wife will talk and I'll say things like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. It's not coming off like I don't give a fuck about it. I care, but it's not doing anything. It's not benefiting me and it's not hurting me. So there's
only so much energy you can give that amount. There's only so much energy. There's only so much energy you can put into something you don't give a shit about. And the reality is that most people don't want to put any energy into shit they don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is why people get so fed up at their jobs and shit like that. Because like as soon as you stop giving a fuck, when you're not emotionally invested, like you're done. You're done. Like it's the beginning of the end right there. And I totally get that. Because why waste your time or your efforts, doing something you don't give a fuck about, or even talking about something you don't give a fuck about.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Which is why when we do this podcast, you don't see us. We nerd out all the time on random shit, but you'll never see us talking about shit we don't give a fuck about. You know what I mean? Like, and there's stuff that we don't talk about on this podcast, and I'm sure we do give a fuck about. It's not podcast.
Get to it, yeah.
It's not podcast material, so whatever. You know what I mean?
And
like getting blowies at the dock.
Yeah. now onto the next minute. I think we're gonna go. Oh shit, we're at 47 minutes. Real quick on some sports. The postseason picture is looking really fucking good.
So what happened? What happened in the wild card game? Because we were talking about last week. What happened in the wild card game?
The Yankees failed. That's all I'm going to say.
Failed.
From what I'm reading, it looks like Aaron Boone's out. It looks like there's going to be some trades to some of our best, like maybe 2 or 3 of our best players. We need a new pitch. We need new pitchers. That's it. We need new pitchers. I am highly disappointed in Garrett Cole, our starting pitcher, for giving up.
Yeah, you brought him up, yeah.
For giving up at the 3rd inning. Now, okay, the guy had surgery. I get it. I fucking get it. He just came back from surgery. He's probably still hurting. But dude, you're on camera and they're reading your fucking lips and you're saying, I'm going to make it worse. Come on, my guy. Come on, my guy. Like, dude.
He's probably going bye-bye in the offseason.
It's possible.
That is the mark of a man that lost faith in his job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now,
that is the mark of a man that lost faith in his team.
Now,
you know what I mean?
I think they'll give him one more season. And only because he had that surgery.
I think he needs to ask himself if he wants to play for the Yankees. Because I mean, as much hate as the Yankees get, the Yankees is a baseball institution. You know what I mean? It's not just a baseball team. It is a baseball institution. And playing for the New York Yankees I don't care who you are or where you came from or what your favorite team was growing up, playing for the New York Yankees, even a single game of a major league career
Even
playing
if
for the
you're not a,
Yankees,
even if you're not a fan, like
even if you're not a
it's
fan, like you get to say that you played for the Yankees. You know what I mean? That is one of those, things that like, yeah, you made it. Not only did you make it to
yeah.
the big leagues, you played for the Yankees. It's
Look at DJ LeMahieu, who's from Missouri, who hit
right,
a home run at that game that we were at.
right,
You know,
right.
play.
Probably grew up like a fucking Cardinals fan, right? Like
Yeah,
probably grew up a Cardinals fan. You know what I mean? And but he's playing for the Yankees. Okay, I mean that's like, so if your heart's not in it, man, just get the fuck out.
yeah.
Just
And then
GTFO,
we
dude.
also have to remember he had the spider tack controversy, which was also a big thing. And to add on
That
top
was
of that, Trevor
that
Bauer.
changed that changed the course of this season. Did you see batting averages and what batting averages did once they got
It
rid of that
changed
shit?
everything. And people started getting hit by balls again.
Yep.
Pitchers started. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is gonna be. I'm telling you, we're gonna have to do
Do you
at the
do
end.
you give do you give the pitchers the advantage or do you give the fucking hitters the advantage? Because it's like we've come so far and baseball has evolved. Baseball has evolved so much. Either everybody's going to hit home runs or there's going to be like no home runs to fucking speak of. And it's going to be like you're going to start seeing no hitters coming again.
We're
You know
gonna,
what I mean? All
we're
the
gonna
time.
have to do right before the World Series starts. We're gonna have to do a special. It has to be done.
You know what? John, we've been talking about season 3 and shit, and I'll tell you what, another thing that we need to add for season 3 is we have not done a
After
night,
dark.
an evening, an after dark.
Yes.
We have not done a special. It's been almost a year.
Yeah, and you know what?
The last time we did a fucking special was almost a year ago,
Yeah,
dude.
and
like,
you know what? It's good too because we have built such a good foundation. It's time, baby. It's coming.
it really is. And you know what? Honestly, as far as like I've got some work to do this week, but like once some of my work gets done this week around the house and whatever, like I'm like this close to being basically done with everything, and it's like I'm gonna have nothing but time
Yeah,
to do shit because like I'm not working or doing anything until I get to Kansas City.
Yeah.
So
and
between now and December, dude, once I get my shit done around the house, dude, I've got nothing but fucking time.
you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first, live.
We're gonna be doing. I think we're gonna be going a lot stronger and a lot more solid. And you know what I was thinking the other day because I was listening to the podcast on the way out to Kansas City this weekend. The sound effects were working. The sound effects were fucking working, dude.
Oh, they're great.
I really think we need to add that. We should probably make that like a permanent.
Yeah, no, yeah, I
We should
agree.
probably make that. I don't know if it should be something that I run or you run, or if we need to pull a third party in and just have them do. If they have good timing, like kind of comedic timing or whatever. If they have good timing. But yeah, we really need to make the sound effects a permanent feature of our show because. It was working. I was vibing off of it. And even when we have guests, like we've never used sound effects with guests. I think we should probably start adding sound effects when we have guests on. You know what I mean?
And that's I love that idea. And you know what? A lot of things are going to be coming soon. I'm so excited because
Absolutely.
I have things in
100%.
my folders ready to go. And but before I end the baseball talk, because I just have one quick football thing to say. The Houston Astros are the only team right now who are in a 2-0 lead in the whole postseason right now.
So everybody's fighting.
Everyone,
it's a dogfight.
Everyone is tied, except
it's a dogfight.
Yes, and my prediction, my bracket is the Houston Astros and the Milwaukee Brewers coming in. I watched the.
Yeah, you said that last week. And I haven't seen anything that's told me yet that you're wrong.
Yeah, it's looking.
Yet.
I mean, Boston beat Tampa Bay. The Giants beat the shit out of the Dodgers last night, and oh my God, it's getting so good. One thing I just want to show you guys, a big shout out to Sergeant Cox. He is a Atlanta Falcons fan, guys, and
okay.
I have to show you this because it's fucking hilarious.
Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on the. I'll keep an eye on the stream, so I'll just be a couple seconds behind you.
Yeah, so Sergeant Cox He was my NCO during my time at the DFAC. He was the E7. Cool son of a bitch, man. Cool as fuck. He was real, probably one of the realest NCOs I've ever met. He does not let the Atlanta Falcons inside his house. He keeps them on the radio on Sirius XM outside and watches the rest of his red zone stuff on the inside of his house and watches all football because he is punishing the Atlanta Falcons.
Really?
Yes.
What was it? So I got to hear what's the story behind it? I know there's been some massive, heartbreak, in the Atlanta Falcons fan base at different, in varying times. But like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back for him? I guess is my question.
I literally look. I'm not going to show it on the screen. Can you see any of the screen share I'm showing you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see. I've got it pulled up.
That's one photo there. You see is outside.
Uh-huh.
And then the other one outside again. He is just he wants his team to play. He wants his team to get it done. Which I mean, we can't ask for much more from our teams.
No, and that's like me being obviously it's our podcast, so obviously I'm going to talk about my team a lot more than a lot of the other teams. Let's talk about the Chiefs, dude. Like their defense is fucking non-existent. It's scaring the fuck out of me. We are we're 2-2. We are 2-2, and it's like by the grace of the gods that we're not 0-4 right now, because the two games that we did win were very close, and a couple of different plays here or there we could be 0-4 right now. The Chiefs have the last ranked defense in the NFL right now. They are 32nd in the NFL in defense right now. We're scoring. Our offense we have Patrick Mahomes. Like, the offense is not the problem, obviously. Tonight, Sunday Night Football. Get ready for a shootout, ladies and gentlemen. And I would, even if you're not a Chiefs or a Bills fan, I would watch this game. This game is shaping up to be the Chiefs Rams game from a couple years ago, where it was on Monday Night Football, and it was just like touchdown, 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 touchdown. Tonight's game against the Bills, Chiefs and Bills, Sunday Night Football. Tune in, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be a fucking shootout because the Bills have a high-powered offense, and the Chiefs have no fucking defense. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes and our whole fucking offensive, guard, and and the Bills. There's no team in the NFL that can really stop our offense right now.
Absolutely, and I'm actually looking right now. Yeah, that game is tonight, right? Do you know what time?
It is tonight. I want to say it was 6:20.
Oh, it's at 8:20
Eastern.
Yep, 8:20 Eastern. That should be a good game.
8:20 Eastern, 7:20 Central. 6:20 Mountain, 5:20 Pacific. But that will be a smoke show of an NFL game. So tune in tonight to watch the Chiefs defense fucking. And dude, I have no prediction for this game because our defense can't stop anything. Like we have no defense right now. It's atrocious, and it reminds me of 2018 where we made the AFC Championship and we lost to the Patriots. In large part because of our defense, because we can't keep their offense off the field, basically. And that's basically the game plan of how to beat the Chiefs. You have to outscore the Chiefs. And if the Chiefs don't have a fucking defense, you're probably going to outscore us. You know what I mean?
That's true. And I'm actually seeing right now, speaking of the Falcons, they're beating my Jets right now, who are 1-3 right now. This is why I don't watch football. So I'm going to have to choose a different team. So sorry, Gangrene, you're out of here. Now,
wait a minute. They're playing football already?
Yeah.
I thought football didn't start until
they're up to the third quarter now.
No.
Scores 9-20. Yep.
Hold on. I thought it was like too early for this right now.
No.
You're right. Did they start the game early?
They started the game. I don't know where they playing at.
Why did they start? I was gonna say, why did they start the game so fucking early?
If they're playing here, it probably makes sense.
Yeah, but it's only fucking 11 o'clock.
11:30 in the fucking morning. They're up to the third quarter.
It's only 9:30 in Colorado right now.
Yeah.
Football should not be showing right. That's what I'm freaking out on. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, they're Eastern teams too. Atlanta and New York.
Are they playing in London? Is it one of those like weird? Dude, I'm telling you, like games in Colorado don't start till 11 o'clock.
That's
What I'm
wild.
saying. Like games don't start till 11 o'clock Mountain. So it's like because you have the afternoon games and late afternoon games, but they don't start
Yeah.
this early. I
Yeah.
don't know what.
So
I
now, I mean, shit, we had a really good conversation just there before. Into the game news.
Yes.
I think we
Yes,
can
yes.
actually make it. I think we can actually make it.
I think we can. I think we can do this.
The first thing, on the smaller type news, the new switches, the LEDs, we covered them a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So you know how like when you get a new electronic product, it has like a plastic that comes with it. And you
Yes.
know it's like just so
Uh-huh.
nice to peel it off. Nintendo
Yeah.
says do not peel it off. It's a screen protector.
Oh, okay.
And
So
on
they were
top
like,
of that, you can
okay.
add one on top of that screen protector.
Interesting.
Yes.
I like. Well, good. I tell you what, man, and we've talked about this last few podcasts here and there. Nintendo's making some moves because they held the market share basically in the 90s, and then when Xbox and Sony came out with a PlayStation, and or Microsoft came out with the Xbox, I should say, they lost the market share. Like Nintendo is no longer the big dog on the block. Then the Wii came out. Nintendo kind of became the big dog again, and they got the money and they got the revenue to start rebranding and rebuilding their empire, their gaming empire,
Yeah.
basically. And now it's been 10, 15 years since the Wii, and we're seeing Nintendo kind of make these these little side moves. They're not trying to compete for the major consoles. They're doing side shit, and the side shit is the handheld. It's the Switch. It's it's bringing it's being able to play Genesis games on the Switch too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
for all the 90s
That's
shit like that.
That's
That's a side move.
and
That's a side move. They're not trying to beat PS5 or the Xbox Series X.
they're trying
They're
to
doing
join
side
them.
shit. They're going to a whole different section of gamer and saying, "We got you over here. We got you over here."
They're listening. They're listening.
Exactly. They're listening, and I have a feeling, John, like that we're going to see that at Christmas time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does the PS5 have any fucking games yet, dude? Because I still have not.
I haven't seen
Just
anything.
saying. Just
And it's
throwing it
so
out
interesting. And I just want to say,
Throwing it
this
out.
is such a big move on Nintendo too, because for a handheld and them understanding that a lot of their market is children, it's gonna be
Right.
dropped. It's gonna break.
Right.
So they added this thin screen protector on it in case your screen breaks, and it's actually quite it's smart. It saves you a little money. It saves you a little time.
Right.
Incredible. It's an incredible
Absolutely.
move. Kudos.
Absolutely.
And I'm highly interested in this new Switch. I will try to get my hands on this. This is actually one of those things that unlike the Xbox and the PS5, I actually want this like right away.
Right.
This is
Right.
something I'm actually really excited for. The next news that we got here, The Last of Us has some pictures that are coming out.
Okay.
The first photo
You talking about the show they're making off, or the movie they're
Yep.
making off of it? Okay.
Let's see. So over here we have a picture of Ellie. I think that's the character's name, Ellie, and Joel. This is This is the official photo from it. Really cool photo, as you can see. There's the airplane in the back, so there's a whole vibe to this, man.
Oh yeah.
There is a whole.
I
vibe.
remember. You remember our guest, Staff Sergeant Bodette,
Of course.
when my buddy Chris was on here?
Yeah.
When he was he had to have still been a private. He was a private. I was a specialist. We were living in the Bees and at Fort Leonard Wood, and I would go over to his room, and I'd bring a couple of tall boys with me, and I would literally just sit and watch him play The Last of Us, and I watched him beat that fucking game. Like, I watched him play that whole fucking game, dude, and it was like, and I just sat there and watched. I enjoyed watching him play this game, and it was a really, really enjoyable experience. And I gotta say, man, I'm liking the vibe, the pictures that have been shown so far. And the fact that the director is the guy that kind of created the game, basically.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a good thing. I
yeah.
really, really, it's looking good so
It
far.
has
It's really looking good
and it
so
has a
far.
great cast: Bella Ramsey, Pedro
Oh,
Pascal,
absolutely,
Gabriel Luna, Nico Parker,
absolutely,
Anna Torv,
yeah,
Jeffrey
hundred
Pierce.
percent,
They have such a good cast. They know what they're doing.
100%,
Another photo I
100%.
have here. Someone snuck onto the set. Well, I don't want to say that.
Really?
I don't want to say that they snuck on, because they're filming in residential and business areas in Edmonton, Canada.
Okay,
So some areas are closed off, but from you can see there's no filming going on while these pictures are taken. I don't know if these are considered much of a spoiler, to be
no, they're
honest with
no,
you,
no.
because
That's
they're
not. I can tell you right now. It's not
yeah,
a spoiler. That's just like that's like basically like a backdrop. That's like backdrop scenery.
yeah.
That's kind of like that
It's like
dystopic.
concept art what you get from a video game when it's
Yeah,
leaked.
it's like that dystopian like the world has moved on kind of scene, where like you can see the vines, you can kind of faintly see the
Yeah,
vines growing on the bus right there, shit like that. It's the vibe. Like that's the world they inhabit in that video game, and
yeah.
obviously it's going to be in this movie. That's the world they inhabit. The
It's
world has kind of moved on.
I
So
now I've said this 1,000 times on this show. I am such a slut for post-apocalyptic. Okay,
oh, absolutely,
I
absolutely.
love this type of shit. This is the type of stuff that gets me going. Whether it be a comic book, which like, hey,
Right.
DMZ's coming out, guys. Get ready for that preview October 16th at DC Fandom, because this show is going to be so fucking good, especially since it takes place in Manhattan. You can't miss it. But back to Last of Us. Back to Last of Us. The nerd in me is coming because DC
No,
Fandom
you're
is
fine.
coming.
You're fine. Yeah, you're
Um,
fine. You're fine.
the vibe is beautiful to me. I love using the words beautifully destructive. This is beautifully destructive. I love the
Absolutely.
way it looks. This is just another show for me to be like, okay, this I have to see this. Here is another shot that we have here with the bus. I think it's just another angle of the same bus, maybe another bus. Who knows? It doesn't matter. But you see the vibe here, man. You see the vibe.
Absolutely.
The vines all over the place, post-apocalyptic again. It's beautiful. And
Right.
last but not least, we got one more angle of the same bus and the same vehicle. Obviously, going with the modern time vehicles and stuff like that. I don't know the time period of the game. I don't know the time period of the show, but and actually, you can actually see right over here on the right side there is a woman just walking by. So people could walk by the sets. It's no
She
problem.
probably she pro- she probably lives in that area. She probably has like a special pass or something. They
Yeah,
they oft they oftentimes do that. When there's filming going on in a urban area or whatever.
yeah.
You'll get a pass. They'll stop you if they're in the middle of filming. They'll stop you and have you go a different way, whatever. But that's actually very common.
Yeah, and it's really cool because living in New York and living there and living in the area for so long, you see a lot of cool stuff. You see some movies getting filmed. You see these sets. I
Sure.
myself and my wife, we've seen plenty, like plenty.
That's some. That is yeah. I was just gonna say that's an experience you probably have growing up on the East Coast. Like I've never
Yeah, I mean, they
never encountered like a film crew or anything like that in my. I grew up out west. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just not. It's
no,
not
they
quite as
they
common.
film things like Yellowstone
You know?
out there, so.
Right.
And,
Right.
and so over here they actually filmed scenes of The Dark Knight Rises in the train station that's not even 10 minutes away from me. So,
Right.
we have, they film a lot of stuff. New Jersey is actually, they film a lot of stuff here, but since, I don't know what happened, there seems to be a shift from Hollywood to New York now to the South. It's much cheaper.
George is huge.
Yeah.
George is
So to
huge.
put that into context, my wife and I, during my time in Fort Benning, Georgia, and even
Hmm.
because we lived in Alabama after I got out for a short time,
Right.
we went to the Walking Dead set.
Okay.
We
Okay.
went to the actual set where they filmed the show.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the show, Jay? This is something.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
so
familiar
you
with
know
it.
the
Yeah.
town. You remember the Woodbury town?
Yes.
We
Hmm.
went there. We went to the physical town that is there. And
Okay.
when you go there, it's called Sonoya. Herschel's Farm is not too far away, and Sonoya, Georgia, is a small like 4 block film town. No one lives there. It's just all businesses. They film a lot of shit there. A lot of shit. We're talking about Driving Miss Daisy, The Walking Dead. They even have a awesome Walking Dead museum there. So fucking cool. Which they have the doors from the first episode and the jail cell from the 3rd season.
Don't dead open inside?
Yeah. Yeah, that one. The actual door from the show is there with the chains that they use from the set.
That's awesome.
But the town, it's Woodbury. It's actually Woodbury, and you see exactly they have they have the Sonoya Cafe that was there. Me and my wife were there one day, and the guy was saying, yeah, it was really cool. You know, they were filming and we're serving tea to the customers here, and there's just zombies outside.
Right.
So,
right. That's fucking badass.
Really
dude.
cool experience.
Yeah.
So I love seeing movie sets. I'm here in this production booth, so you already know I love shit like that. You know?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, and I'll tell you what. And again, I hate to keep circling back to it, man, but I'm really excited for our next kind of big push. You know, here on this podcast, because I am going to have so much more time.
Yeah, and there's going to be
so much more time, to actually invest myself into this, like, because I enjoy this. This is kind of like a hobby for both of us, and I do enjoy it, and I want to make it a lot better, and I want to do more. You know, I would like to produce more content. You know what I mean?
It's so fun. It's so fun.
It really is, John, and I have a good time doing it. And we've said many times on this podcast, it's cathartic. You know, it's healing. You know, in a certain respect, where it's just like, yeah, I can come out once a week and dump my guts into a podcast, and then the rest of the week I'm just kind of like, all right, cool, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? And the more we can do, I guess, with this hobby, it's good for both of us. You know what I mean? It's good for all of us.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a good pastime. It's mentally fulfilling. We get to talk about our favorite shit, the military and video games.
That's right.
Amongst other shit.
Right. Exactly.
And guys, I have to say this again. We are the fucking standard of military and gaming podcast and broadcast in the world.
We're like the only one, right? Like there's no other. Like,
we're the only one.
Gaming, like, which amazes me that we were able to kind of make this happen. In 2000, it was in 2020. Like, you would think there would have been a military gaming podcast like years ago, like light years ago.
And you know what's funny? I didn't even think. Internet, I didn't even think that this is what it would be. You know, when my first initial thought was we're just gonna have conversations and just talk, but we still do that, but we still keep it with the theme amongst other shit. It's just like, fuck, man, we got that shit off, man.
We did. We did.
We got that shit off. I mean, we built a foundation. We're up to, I'm going to tell you right now, I think we're up to 28 episodes of this season. And I mean, guys, let's get real for a second. You already know the deal. The first season is not going to be available for a long time, if not ever. That's just, that's just what it is. Someone had asked about it. Just not thinking, and it's good to know that a lot of the bad juju has gone away, and we're still here fighting strong, and that you guys are still here watching with us, playing with us, and all this stuff. Right. We see your notifications.
We appreciate it.
This was,
and I'm looking forward to bringing even more people in and getting more feedback and more ideas, and So I don't know. I
absolutely, and I know we're getting into the end of our show. I have to do this for Mike J real quick. I have played Postal Brain Damage. So I played Postal Brain Damage. I love it. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. I love it. It's we're all familiar with these open world shooter games. Yeah, but this is like no open world shooter game. This is more, you're literally going postal, and
you're just going ape shit.
Yeah, basically. And Postal Brain Damage really lives up to the title of the game, and even albeit being a fucking demo, it's a pretty good fucking demo. it's a really it's a really good demo. I mean, there's so much you can
Good.
do in it. A good selection of weapons. I was a little confused at first. I was using my Xbox controller. I've realized that a lot of the games on Steam don't really aren't compatible with Xbox controllers. Steam does have their own controller that you can use to purchase so you can play these games. So I ended up playing it in keyboard and mouse, which actually it was not difficult to use on K-Band. It was not difficult to use. The buttons were really simple. It was, even for a dummy like me, I was able to play really well with the controls on keyboard and mouse. So there was really no issue with that at all. And to me that's a big thing. That is a big thing, So
Sure.
especially someone who's not familiar so much with the gameplay of Postal, it was definitely like a different touch. But in a matter of anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes, I was able to learn what the controls were without having to hit pause to see what each button was. So
Right.
that's
Right.
a major plus. The gameplay is hilarious. There's a lot of fucking enemies, and there's just a lot. There's a lot of people just shooting at you, and you could throw things at them.
You have to go postal. You have
Yeah,
to
no,
go.
you have to go postal because
This,
if you're
I'll tell you
shooting
what
at one person, someone else is shooting at you, and that's
I'll tell you- I'll tell you-
makes it challenging.
I'll tell you what. And I just watching the short demo that we showed. Was it last week
Yeah,
or 2 weeks ago? Just watching that, I was like, it reminded me of Doom, like the Doom when Doom Eternal came out. Excuse me, last year or even 2016's relaunch of Doom for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Holy crap! You get swarmed in that game, so
Yes.
you have to. You have to go postal. You have to just
yeah,
blast everything. You have to blast everything and just fight your way through the horde, basically.
and you have to, and it's great. It's great because the one thing I did like is that the movement of the NPCs, they're not like simultaneously running at you like a horde would. So you have the time to maneuver around, and shoot your shot, pretty much.
But you have to go postal doing it.
But
though.
you have to go postal doing it.
Okay, right.
And again, learning the K-BAM, controls were not hard at all. So I was able to really manage. Okay, this is the button that I have to use to do this. This is what I have to do in order to do this. So it helped a lot. I don't want to say it's difficult because it's not difficult because once you figure out the flow of it, you fucking run right through it. So it's a very fun game. My only gripe. And for me, this is more of like, I consider it more like a health thing because I do get a lot of motion sickness. Lot of motion sickness, whether I'm in the passenger seat of a car. Sometimes if I'm driving, I mean, to go back a couple weeks, I was a passenger in your car, Jay, and I marked your car.
It's funny to do because I ran my car through a car wash when I got back to Colorado. But because your guts were still were on my car for a couple of days, dust collects on my car
From that spot
in this vomit pattern, and so when I get back to Colorado tomorrow or later tonight, I'm probably gonna run my fucking car through a car wash again and hope that hope that all your guts fucking get off my car, dude.
Weeks later.
Weeks and weeks later.
Oh, that's great.
I find it hilarious because it looks so trashy. It looks so because if you're old enough, you've seen what vomit splatter looks like on the side of a car,
especially on the moving car.
And so even if it's just dust collecting in the pattern of the vomit spray, you know what that is. And so it's like I'll be driving across Kansas, passing somebody on the interstate. They look at the passenger side of my car. And they're like, oh God, like, who does that guy hang out with? Oh God,
like, fuck. I wish it was one of those things that someone was in their car, pulled out their phone, like, oh shit,
Oh, dude, it would be hilarious.
Yeah,
It would be fucking
and
hilarious.
talking about like that, I could not find anything to change the sensitivity of the controls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you basically have to go with how sensitive the turning and the looking
yeah,
and everything else is, like, regardless.
yeah. Now I did try to move my mouse a little slower. It's not to me. It's not that easy. I'm not a major PC player. No, I don't
Right.
play on KBAM a lot. Maybe that changes if you plug in the Steam controller.
Okay.
But also, I believe there was also an update on the demo the other day, if not yesterday. So maybe there was a feature that maybe adds that in there.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be leaving a review today on their Steam page, to be pretty
Oh,
much saying all this stuff to let them know
I'm
because
gonna.
this.
I was gonna say I'm gonna message Mike after the podcast. I'll let him know that we gave a review
Yeah,
on the podcast today. But absolutely do that for him too, because I know they need that
yeah.
shit. That
This.
there is no functional reason in the world why Running with Scissors, which is the company that produces the Postal games, there's no functional reason in the world why Running with Scissors is kind of like blacklisted the way they are in the gaming community, and it's ridiculous that they are, especially considering
Yeah,
that. Well, going all the way back to the genesis of that company and the I guess the controversy when Postal became controversial and made news back in the 90s. You're talking like we're only like a few short years removed from Grand Theft Auto 3.
if
And
if
Grand
if
Theft
if that's even happening.
if that's what I'm saying, and it's like, and for Grand Theft Auto 3 to make that breakthrough in gaming, and it's the open world sandbox style, and you can just massacre hundreds, thousands, if you want, whatever, of these NPCs, and for the gaming industry to 30 years later, we are almost 30 years later, 25 years later, still hold this fucking grudge against this one tiny fucking gaming company is so fucking stupid, number one, so fucking hypocritical, number two. You know what I mean? Like, it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous that they are still having to fight from behind the curve, basically.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
it makes zero fucking sense. Zero fucking sense.
Yeah.
There could the content in video games that got them in trouble in the 90s is like fucking standard for a rated M game these days.
Yeah, and
It's like fucking standard,
Yeah.
and it's stupid
And
that they are
there-
still pigeonholed like that.
yeah, and
You know what
there's
I mean?
so many layers to this because I enjoyed this.
You could smear shit on the wall in Duke Nukem. Come on, people. You know what I mean? Like, and Running with Scissors are the bad guys. Like,
Yeah.
get the fuck out
Now,
of my
now let me
face.
say this too.
Bullshit.
There's so many things. Like, I have to say off the bat, guys, the demo is free on Steam right now.
Right now. Go
Right
get it.
now. Play it. It is good. It is unique. Okay? We live in a world where we're so used to photorealistic graphics. We're so used to everything to look the way it's supposed to be. I want shit to
Right.
look real. No, it doesn't need to look like that. The
No.
graphics on this game are not here because it's not about the graphics. It's about the gameplay. It's about the experience.
go.
The experience of the game that I had, I enjoyed it.
Right.
You know, I wasn't out
That's-
there. I wasn't out there.
Kind of the most important part, right? I mean, like, enjoy playing the game, right? Like, that's kind of the whole fucking point, right?
Jay,
like,
you are bouncing.
I keep shaking the table.
Oh,
If I shake the table, my fucking laptop wobbles. You know what I mean? Like,
oh,
sorry,
that's
dude. My
great.
bad, dude.
Oh no, I'm just like, whoa. So it's unique. The graphics. Who gives a fuck about graphics? Let's take it
Right.
back a little bit. Let's take it back a little bit. The graphics were were well done. You could tell where everything is. You could tell where you are. Weapons, unique, funny, and do I need to say more after I say press F to piss? Okay.
There we go. There we go. And you can just now. Is this like a constant stream? Like, if you just press F, like the dude automatically has urine, or do you have to like recharge your urine?
Okay,
to
I'm
piss?
gonna be honest with you. I don't remember that. I I believe there was a recharge. I believe I was just having too much fun. I was pissing more than I was shooting. Okay,
I
like
would just say, like fucking kill a dude. And I would just like fucking piss all over his dead body, dude. Like that's
yeah,
fucking
and that's
that's
what it's
hilarious.
about. I love
That's
it. I
hilarious to
love
me.
it, and to me that's different. That's what we need.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
you know you start the game off in like the characters talking to you, which I love. I love shit like that when they're breaking the fourth wall. They do a really good job, and my rating for this demo is at
Okay.
8.2.
Jesus Christ,
It is
John.
an 8.2. I really, really, I genuinely enjoy this. I genuinely
Good.
enjoy this.
That's awesome, dude.
And just because of one gripe that I have doesn't disqualify or bring its score down. That is just simply, this is a demo. That is just simply, this, everyone's different. Everyone has different sensitivity issues. My body is a pussy. My body is a pussy, and that's just
Your body betrays you just constantly, does it not?
so. There you go.
I like it.
I will be leaving a review. I will be leaving a review today. So,
Good, good.
and I
I
know
look forward.
now. I know. Is it your week for the final thought?
No, I had last week, and man,
Oh,
I was so punch drunk. Like
dude.
we, dude, I had that party for my officially getting out of the army, whatever, and I fucked up so bad last week, dude. Like I felt like such a goddamn shit stain. Had a good time. Yes, I probably needed to get it out, whatever. But God, we didn't start the podcast until like late afternoon, and I was still
Oh
hungover.
yeah.
I was still fucking hungover in the late afternoon when we did that podcast. And yeah, I did the final thought last week, so it is your week
Well, it's perfect
for
because
the final
I
thought.
actually have a lot to say.
Good. Please do. Please do.
Guys, to pretty much start off, um, my wife and I we broke our 1 year no alcohol tryst. You know, everyone has a bad day. You know, for us, we had a bad day, and we turned to the poison. Do we both regret the decision? At first, we did. Um, but thinking that we went 268 days
Mhm.
without having one drop of alcohol is a fucking accomplishment.
Absolutely.
That
It
is,
100%, 110% is.
yep,
110% is.
that is a fucking feat all in itself. You know,
And
and
that is exactly how I'm very glad to hear that that's how you're looking at it. It was not a failure on your part or your wife's part or both of your parts. It is what it was what it was, but it was not a failure. Okay, it was.
yeah, and you know, at first, you know, there was a lot of the self beating, you know, and things like that, which is normal, guys. But this is just an example to show that you are not alone. There are people who go 6 years, 10 years, and they have one drink, and they, you know, they think that they fail. They think that they fail.
I went almost 3.5. I didn't make it. I was a little bit shy of 3.5 years. Uh, I got sober for about 3.5 years in my mid 20s, and I very vividly remember the first day that I took a drink, and I was at a job site in Tucson, Arizona, and I was having a bad day, and it was just a bad day. It was just like, you know what? I need to chill the fuck out. Like
Yeah.
I'm wound way too fucking tight. So I called a buddy of mine, and I was like, hey man, if I bring a 6-pack over to the house, like, you want to hang out for a little bit tonight? And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, dude, yeah, it's fine. Like, I got you. He's like, okay, yeah, come on over, you know? And I I basically went to a safe place, and I had a few beers, and I didn't go crazy when I broke my sobriety in my mid 20s. I didn't go crazy. I didn't get fucking completely lambasted, shit faced. Like, it wasn't like that. It was more like I just hadn't had a drink in almost 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The only thing that made it weird was that at that point, I hadn't had a drink in almost 3.5 years. That was the only thing that made it weird. Outside of that, it was a very regular night. I went over to my buddy's house and shot the shit and got some shit off my chest and had a couple of beers and I had a good friend who knew my situation and supported me. And I also want to make it very clear that when I got sober originally, it was not that I felt like I needed to be sober for the rest of my life. It was more like I needed a break.
Yeah.
So up to the point that I stopped drinking in my mid-20s, up to that point, I had done way too much drinking and way too much cannabis and God knows what else in my teen years and early 20s that wasn't just I wasn't doing it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
That's really what it came down to. I was not being healthy about my consumption with, what I would call, drugs and alcohol, basically. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and I needed a break, and you guys made it 260 some odd days. That's not. There's no failure here.
Yeah,
there's no failure.
There are people.
I don't want you to beat yourself up.
Yeah, like again, you said, you went 3 years. People go 6 years, 10 years. People can't even make it a week, and just the fact that
right.
willpower was there,
right.
and to physically feel a lot healthier.
Oh yeah.
Because for those who were here from the beginning, we were coming on this show every Sunday, having a morning drink.
Yeah, I'm the only one that really carries that tradition anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we started with 4, and all 4 of us would on Sunday mornings, like we would have some type of. I remember Sean kind of dropped off as far as like some days he would drink coffee or he would drink water.
Yeah.
Because he was and there
was nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
He's a very health centric middle-aged man. Like he's a little bit older than me, and he's very health centric.
He's probably the healthiest man in the world. He's probably the healthiest veteran in the world. As far as eating habits and not smoking and things like that.
He pays attention. He pays attention to his body, and he started paying a lot of attention to his body, and good for him for doing that. And now that it's just you and me, it's come down to you and me. I'm the only one that still does that. Like I kind of just. And that's kind of the the part of our podcast.
And now you have to wait. And now you have to wait until October 8th.
I know. Well, what's funny is that's the part of our podcast because we've said before we are playing kind of a caricature of ourselves at times. You know what I mean? It's not always John and Jay as we are in real life. Like this, there are some parts of this show where we are kind of caricatures. Like I'm the veteran that has a morning breakfast beer on a Sunday, right? Like that's a caricature. That's not.
Ooh, it's
that's
empty.
not exactly. That is not exactly who I am in real fucking life. Obviously, like I have responsibilities. I have children. My kids have to go to fucking school, and I'm the one that takes them there. I'm the one that picks them up.
I actually have footage of you being a human being too.
What does that mean?
I have footage of you singing.
Oh, like karaoke?
Karaoke and on the porch.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, boy.
It almost turned into a commercial the other day. It almost turned into a commercial.
That'd be fucking hilarious. So, well, I obviously I'm getting us caught up here. I'm getting us sidetracked. So, we gotta do the final thought. So, sorry.
No, but this was a really today's episode was a really real episode. A lot of reflection today, which is really good. And what happened to myself and my wife this week. Breaking that sobriety. It's not about a coin. It's not about. It's about feeling better about yourself, about accomplishing the goals that you set out. One that's for a first try going that far. Fuck me. I'm proud of my wife.
Oh, 100%.
My wife, she is the strongest woman I know, and to see, her taking this so well right now, it's a beauty. So just remember, guys, if you're going through something, even if you're breaking your sobriety and you're beating yourself about it, because even when you beat yourself up, the clouds come in, that disease called depression comes in, and like I always say, it doesn't discriminate, it doesn't pick and choose, it just comes. Guys, remember 1-800-275-TALK. 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-8255.
Thank you.
I don't know why I always think it's a 5.
That's okay. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah,
It happens to the
I don't know
best of
why
us.
and I have it right here in front of me too. Like it's taped up on my thing. I always call it the five, but guys, 1-800-273-8255. There's always someone there. There's always someone watching. There's always someone listening. They want to hear your story today. Veterans, civilians, children. You know, we're in a very interesting era in time right now where even children as young as 8, 9 years old are experiencing anxiety, depression, and they need someone to talk to too. You know, it's not a far cry from hearing stories about young children, leaving this world on their own account, and that's the future, man. We need them. We have to be there for them, just like we have to be there for each other.
That's exactly right.
We're all we got, man.
That's right.
Guys, see you next week. I got a review for some racing games. Back for Blood comes out on the 12th. It's on the Game Pass. So, Jay, if you're getting back on that Game Pass and you have the time, Back for Blood is the game.
I'm getting ready. I'm looking into it right now. Me and Nikki, I came to Kansas City this weekend, and I will probably most likely be. I'm returning to Colorado tonight. I'm very likely, like 99%. I'm coming back to Kansas City next weekend again. So, I'm looking into getting back on the Game Pass. For any of our regular listeners that tune in at various parts of the week, I am making headway, and I plan and I promise all of our listeners and our friends out there, I will be playing more video games in the next 365 days than you have seen me play in the last 365.
And that's a big span too.
We played the absolute fucking shit out of video games during coronavirus, obviously, and it reinvigorated my desire for the hobby of gaming in general, of course. This year I was getting out of the Army, and I had a lot of shit going on, and I'm still serving and still doing stuff, and the video gaming just it didn't go away, but it went the numbers were drastically reduced.
Yeah.
This next year going forward, I'm going to have a lot more time, and that's same as what I said when we were talking about doing season 3 stuff for our podcast. I'm going to have a lot more time.
Yeah.
And that's really the ultimate reality is like it comes down to time, and I'm going to have more time to spend doing it. And I'm very much looking forward to that.
Well, it'll be a good start, the 12th. So make sure you get Back for Blood, guys, and come by next week. We didn't have enough time for it. Next week I have a Battlefield 2042 review. I played about an hour of it. It's actually a lot better than I thought. I also have a review for the Ferrari 458 racing wheel and what my experience is like in racing games, which I'm just gonna say right now, Formula One right now is my favorite one.
Okay.
So see you guys next week. Thank you guys for coming. Get prepared for a Halloween episode. That is gonna be hilarious. Guys.
Couple of weeks.
From Blood Eagle and Clean Sanchez.
Have a good day. Have a good week,
and
guys.
Joe, llamas. Lots of llamas.
Llamas.